Welcome back, everybody, to the Inexorables. Last time, which was, let's date ourselves, about 1.5 weeks ago. Uh, the party got to Suno. That's the right city. Yeah, got to Suno, and they kind of just fucked around for an entire day. We got to Suno, got got to our inn, set everything up, got our NPCs handled. Then we went out on the town to purchase some more sending stones. Spend about 2 hours trying to buy magical gear and then just, partaking of the Festival of the Rise. I'm pretty sure that Rikus managed to gain some relationship points with Yvonne by winning her I get, what was it, like a life-sized owlbear plush?
Not quite life size, but
A,
very large.
a,
Very
gigant,
large.
a gigantified owlbear plush the size of a tavern. And for the night, we basically sat at a tavern, Rikus and Wayne did a bit of gambling. Uh, Leopold and gosh, I forgot his name. Ernest had a bit of a heart-to-heart about the, you know, responsibilities of being a noble.
You were
Lynn-
also there.
Lynn was there. He didn't really do much. And then we went back to the estate, had a bit of conversation with Lycus about the next day's plans, what's going on, all like internal politics with his family, and then we went to sleep. And I think that covers the 6-hour session we had in about 5 minutes.
It covers a large portion of it. There are a couple notes. Chronologically, you guys took the long rest and then had the conversation with Lycus, in which you guys got ambushed by his mother and father.
I taught him how to look down on people because he's a short.
Yes, you did teach his father a little bit something of looking down on people. It was quite the event. I'm trying to remember actually all that happened because it was a lot. I kind of watched through some of it. We opened up the session with Jade awaking, or Secure, awaking from his nightmare. He kind of went up, told nobody about it and what occurred, and then proceeded to go back to bed. Wayne promptly had cast divination to see if he could figure out how to solve his issue and got a cryptic message of not happening soon, beware this one dude, the golden merchant in quaint attire. Upon which you guys were set out on Tsuno, traveling through, visiting a magic shop, picking up a couple extra sending stones so that you can connect to Yvonne and Edmund when you guys are not nearby, especially since Edmund is going to be hip to hip with Lycus for the whole of this week. He got that assignment, lucky him. Eventually making your way to magical... Oh, I can never remember exactly what the name is.
I
Mystical
probably have it down somewhere.
Magicalities and Feathered Fantasticalities or something like that.
That sounds correct.
Sounds about right. Mystical Mysteries and Feathered Fantasticalities, upon which you met Mallard Denaros, who you guys spent probably an hour with, bartering and bargaining for a handful of magical items. I believe the only person who has something on order is Linen.
No, it's Rikus with the bullet.
Rikus
I also have... Yeah, I have a lamp for detecting undead, aka vampires.
Oh, right. So the Lamp of Detect Undead, and then there was another bullet that Rikus wanted. Oh, right. It was a real expensive one.
I'm pretty
the
sure
returning
Linen.
on the elemental bullet.
I
And
think
returning
Linen
feature.
got a cleansing stone and then whatever those
Yeah,
insignia
Linen
cloth
thought
was.
about putting in an order on something to try and double up on stuff, but ended up just grabbing something
Yeah.
that gave him like a
Two-
+1 to
two-
attack and damage rolls.
Yeah, two things: something to replace prestidigitation and more attack.
More attack.
I got a bunch of.
Yeah, he got a bunch of beans, in which he did spawn a statue that is constantly cursing at him, spent an extended period of time making up very creative insults upon him. and then is proceeding to now, throughout the rest of the next 24 hours, to try to convince people to hunt you down.
Yep.
Didn't Secure get something for free?
Secure did get something for free. He got like an alchemy jug. Whatever the little jug that spawns different liquids. He got a version of that. A scaled down.
Yeah. Also, can you remind me how to update my character sheet from Beyond, so I can put it in Forge.
So
I found it. Never mind.
You found it.
I found it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you just have to put the link in.
Yep.
Regardless, so all of that occurred. You guys spent some time. Most important thing you missed is that y'all met Maurice Lenotdon.
I was gonna mention if you didn't.
Leopold's brother, who kind of jumped into the table, spoke for a little bit, maybe gave you a little bit of insight into the Court of Lords and their current.
Said that he hated the pores.
And left saying he hated the pores, seemingly directing that towards Wayne, after Wayne asked if the Lenotdown sister was still single.
Oof. Oh yeah, didn't we all... I do remember another thing. We decoded Varys's letter.
You guys did finish
That
decoding
too.
Varys's letter and found that, oh wow, we can send letters to him just by writing it on this piece of paper.
What a nice guy.
We also debated if we were going to bring him in front of the Senate, but Lycus immediately shot down that idea, and we all knew it was a terrible idea, but we just had to say it.
Just had to say it.
It'd be funny though.
It would be funny. It would be funny.
And so, to our surprise, he will secretly be a congressperson this entire time.
Maybe. Who knows? Regardless, we ended the session with some shenanigans happening with Wayne and Rikus and Sakir, while Lennon and Leopold made their way back up to the Caladran estate, and kind of got a history lesson on the Valkenton family, and discussed the importance of, as Lennon said, being a noble and what it means to be a noble. What's more important, doing what you think is right, or serving your family? So with that, I am going to bring everybody over to the map of Suno, just so that we're there, because the world map doesn't matter as much. And we awake in the morning as you guys are leaving the Caladran estate. And I will make this an important note as you guys have left Lycus and are exiting the estate. This is the front primary entrance and gates to the estate that you are right beside. And as you guys exit out, I would like everyone to roll perception check.
Perceive these nuts.
I don't have any.
Net 20.
Ooh.
22.
I'm assuming Thomas is either dipped from his computer just for a second. Discord's bugging TF out.
I'm trying, but like Discord is freaking the fuck out and constantly freezing.
If you need to, you can go ahead and restart your PC. Mine's moving a little slow and glitchy, but it's fine.
Well,
About the same for me.
I can only hear bits and pieces of all these conversations, so
Restart.
So all
I
that
already
is
relaunched Discord.
It's for nothing.
computer. Restart computer.
But I gotta update my drivers, so I figured I'd just do that and have it restart then.
Okay, will do.
How long does it take to update your drivers?
Let's talk about the logistics of what Secure is doing while that we wait for that.
As the logistics. So as you guys kind of peer out, you know what? I'll roll for Secure as well. You guys rolled very well, but I will still. That's Wayne's character sheet. I want Secure. We're gonna roll a. I'm blind. Normal. Also, solid roll. As you guys are looking out upon
Hold on, I'm rolling my perception.
the North Vertasis, it's a popular area at this time of day. Early morning, things are moving around, the hustle and bustle, and you guys see, surprisingly, that there's actually like a small crowd of people just down the way, like across the street on the corner, that appear to be a group of protesters. As you kind of peer out, they're holding up a series of like signs, all something along the lines of like "vote against war," "might doesn't make right," "others nations' problems shouldn't become our own." This seems to be known that this place is housing a lot of senators. And due to the Senate meeting tomorrow, it is actively gathering a small crowd of protesters outside. So as you guys kind of leave the estate, what would you like to start your day with?
In all my time, both back home and in Neverland, I don't know if I've ever actually seen protesters.
Just out of curiosity, what's the catchiest slogan?
The catchiest slogan?
Yeah.
They're not very well written. You can
Oh.
tell that protesting isn't necessarily a common thing in the Cloudrian Empire. Probably "might doesn't make right" is the catchiest that you see. But I didn't write 50 slogans. I only wrote a few.
They could have very easily made it flow so much better if they just said, "Might isn't right,"
I mean,
rather than "Might does not make right."
they're getting there. I feel that if after a few more, they'll get the hang of it, right?
Perhaps. Although, I guess I do wonder how many of these people are actually literate. If many of them are literate, it makes it even more impressive.
Honestly, their handwriting seems pretty well done.
I
At least
wouldn't
they
know,
made it
mine's
rhyme.
atrocious. They do have
What is-
that.
Ice.
What did you say, Wayne?
What
God
is,
damn
what
it.
is ice?
No!
No, 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 no,
What-
no, 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 no.
No! I'm the
We are
minority
in
here. I'm
LA.
already in danger.
If anything, look, if anything, we're in Washington, D.C., not L.A.
Why do they
That's
want
even
to have
worse.
sex with it?
It is worse to be in D.C., but as far as I know, there aren't any ICE protests over there currently.
Oh, there definitely are.
Well, I mean,
Where is the
probably,
Cloudrian
but-
National Guard?
Just not
No!
just not compared to LA right now.
No!
Okay, continuing.
What's the equivalent of LA in the Galadrian Empire?
in the
though?
Galadrian Empire?
Yeah,
let
would
me
it be
look at the-
Revenant? Would it
let me
be-
look at the map? So the
Probably wouldn't be Revedan.
honestly,
not.
Revedan
for-
feels more like a New York City.
Revedan kind of is a New York City if New York City wasn't full of drugs and gangs and gangsters, and have control.
So it still has the Italians.
But it still has the Italians. Suno definitely would be, it's your capital. The best I could say for like an LA would either be like Team or Rivacheg, honestly, would be my first thoughts on it.
Oh, thank God I'm not from LA.
Well, Team does have a lot of similarities.
It's got the,
Yeah, all
the
those
super
round
long
buildings.
coastline, among other things. Very large city.
There
Yeah, and
is a
Sakir and
big
I
city
are
in the
from South Africa.
You and Secure from
At least you're not white South Africans.
Hmm.
And you'd be Elon Musk.
We look similar enough to other folk that we pass by,
Yep.
even
That's
though we're
fair.
definitely not American. But hey,
What would the Astral Sea be
If-
then?
If we're being honest, the true LA of my world would be Zem, which is the capital of the Zemnian coast, like through and through.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely would be Zem. Regardless, how would you guys like to approach this morning? There are a few options that have been placed in front of you, but maybe you guys have ideas that I did not think of.
I mean, we should probably go pick up Yvonne, Theobald, any other NPCs if we're just going to be going around town. I know there was a combat
I mean,
tournament
Rikus
mentioned.
Rikus stayed at the inn.
Yes, he did.
All right.
I mean, you still showed up
What
at
was
the College Rhinoceros.
Yeah, I still showed up.
I was going to say that I know there was a combat tournament mentioned, but we're probably not going to do that without Jade here.
That is
Plus,
also on
come
the
on.
13th, so that is the day after.
So true.
Is
Yeah.
when that is occurring.
Yeah, today's the 11th. Return.
I don't think you can say that.
He can say
I
whatever
didn't
he wants.
finish
I'm
it.
not
I said
biased.
Anyways,
Shit. For real?
Shit. Just gotta hit
For
it.
real?
Shit.
I'm gonna say the N-word.
Why did that sound like Morgan Freeman with a reverb?
Why did that sound
Was
like
that-
a retarded Optimus Prime?
Jesus.
I'm gonna
Alright.
say the N-word. Alright, anyway. We're shitposting way too much this session already.
Yeah. Should we, I don't know,
so-
should we talk about that protest, guys? Is this part of the politicking that Lycus didn't want us to take part in?
I feel like we should move on as long as they're not costing us.
Is
The
this
only
Is this part of
No.
one of those be seen type of moments that he wanted us to do?
Participate in anti-war protests?
I mean,
Force
our
Gumpo
opinion on
away.
our my personal opinion on the war is against it, but looking at it from a political standpoint, if we were to join these anti-war protesters as members of the Inexorables, that might harm Lex's position in the Senate, considering it appears to be a rather popular position.
I mean, people already know that he's anti-war, though.
Yes,
For
but
the
that could be
Court of
Lycus
Lords.
versus...
I
Yes.
do want to make that distinction. Is people in the Court of Lords know the populace is not the Court of Lords. They definitely don't have the same level of information. But Lycus is also not an extremely well-known name in the Court of Public Opinion.
So
But you want to
like-
know what name is well known?
why
The
tell us?
nobleman you punched?
I'm sure that'll come up later.
He didn't have a punchline for the joke. He just started a joke with no punchline.
He only has a punchline for nobleman.
Hey, there we
That's
go.
a good one.
Hey, there you go. See, I was just the wingman for the real joke.
I was just
Jesus.
a wing.
Anyways,
Anyways,
We'll come back
so
to it later. I
You
guess.
guys, so you're going down into the Golden Goose to try and pick up Yvonne, Theobald, maybe Percy, all of the above.
yeah.
Um,
Gonna enjoy some, festivities at this festival. Almost that's
along
why
your
festivals happens.
guys' way down, I would like to note, you guys see a couple more of these protests. One on your way south through the North Vertasis, one on the southern side of the bridge, and then another one as you're getting closer to the Golden Goose. It seems that these protests have kind of permeated throughout the city. Each group is anywhere from 10 to 50. 50 in the more populated areas, and they seem to be catching people as they go by to join.
So the protests definitely look like they're picking up steam then, as it were.
Yes, it definitely looks like this is a popular public movement. And I would like to note this, since we did have a natural 20, which is something that I have something written up for.
Did I guess?
I'll say that as you guys are closing in on the Golden Goose, Leopold, you've kind of gotten a little bit more used to seeing these protests at this point. You know, you've been walking for 20, 30 minutes. It's kind of like, okay, it's another one. But you kind of glance over, and you see a pair of, piercing yellow eyes in the shade, and it immediately like catches your eye for a second, and you kind of look back. I would like you to roll me an insight check.
It's our shipyard.
I have a +0 insight.
I may not.
4.
A 4. Okay. You can't shake the feeling that that person is familiar to you. You see in this a small crowd of people, there seems to be a male and female. The male appears to be half-elf and the female appears to be a full elf from this distance. But you're kind of just passing by and you kind of look over. You don't lock eyes or anything. You don't think they saw you, but you just can't shake the feeling that they look familiar.
The only other NPCs I could think that would be elves were the 2 people from the Kravis Guild, but I don't think they were elves, were they?
Wait, hold on. Piercing yellow eyes.
So once I get my answer from the Kravis Guild, that is when I will bring it up to the party.
Wasn't there an elf in the refugee camp in team that had piercing yellow eyes that we were looking for?
Well, I haven't brought this up in character yet. I would definitely slow down and... hold on a moment, everyone.
I'm thinking out loud, don't worry about me.
Maybe call me crazy for this. We haven't run into anybody with, like, yellow eyes, have we? I don't think Varys had yellow eyes.
I mean,
He had blue
I'm
eyes.
just gonna control F in my notes.
Yeah, Varys has pretty much always had blue eyes.
Okay.
not recently,
Like-
at least.
Piercing blue eyes.
Yeah, he had piercing blue eyes in pretty much every form he's taken.
Okay. Rolling through my notes, there doesn't appear to be anything about yellow eyes. Nobody remembers any yellow eyes.
Was it something in with the Nesdoon case?
That is the only thing I have in my notes. There were yellow eyes at the bottom of one of the blood barrels, but I also don't know if that's what Zach's pulling on or not.
Boy, hold on.
Because that's a heck of a random thing to pull on. But that is also the only instances of yellow eyes in my notes.
Yeah, it's either the elf in the refugee camp or something about the Nesdoon case. I think one of the guys we were looking for, but we never found.
I will note that if you guys have not made it to the inn yet, Rikus is actually at the inn, so unfortunately I cannot get my input.
I was gonna.
Rikus, you met them at the Caladron estate for the meeting with Lycus. And
Was that in the morning?
That was in the morning.
It was in the
Yeah,
morning.
It was in the morning. So you
Oh,
met
fuck.
them for the meeting with Lycus and are now making your way back down to the Golden Goose with
Yeah.
the party.
I
So-
misread the situation. Anyways, in that case, Rikus is going to be like... What color eyes did, Okay, I've gotta take myself out of RP there for a second. It's been that long since we played D&D, guys. All right, we're gonna retcon and restart that. What color eyes did Pax have again? Weren't they yellow?
He had golden eyes. So, you
Close
can
enough.
say yellow.
Yellow enough.
This is definitely not Pax.
He's alive.
I'm just gonna, because like that crowd of protesters, they haven't like gotten out of eye like vision, have they?
No, they're standing still on a corner, and you guys have.
Okay, I wasn't sure if they were like walking past us.
No.
I'll just walk towards them, see if I can find that character with the yellow eyes.
Okay. As you begin walking closer, I will have you roll me another perception check, and I'll let the whole party partake in this.
I'll slap a guidance on Leopold, since he knows what the guy looks like.
Thank you.
Guidance is a verbal somatic spell.
Yep, and that is fine. You are in a public space. It's
I
difficult to
slap
tell.
him with guidance.
21.
I'm perceiving 4.
Oof.
I'm
Some
perceiving.
perceivings are not made to the same scale as others.
Yeah, I don't know what you expect from
Um,
Lennon.
You only have a +1 wisdom
Yep.
as a monk?
As
Yep.
as everyone kind of looks back over, Wayne, you consider yourself one to have a good memory, especially when it comes to remembering a face you've maybe only seen once. You know, as kind of a preacher of a cult following, one could say. When someone you've never met kind of comes to hear one of your sermons, you kind of clock the face and try to remember it. So you're generally very, very good at matching a face to someone you've seen before. As you're kind of looking over, you don't remember the face as well, but the eyes, these piercing yellow eyes. You haven't seen them all that much. You guys did have the description of a yellow-eyed elven man inside of the Vox camp, which does kind of come to mind. But you remember that one night that you had when you met Varys and team, and you met his posse of clowns. There was one guy in the room, you believe one of the spawns of Varys, that had eyes similar to this. And as you kind of catch a glance, this swarm of people, as these protesters, obviously very busy street at this time, it's, you know, a little ways past the bridge, there's a lot of traffic. As you guys are looking out there, you see the eyes for but a moment, and seemingly these people disappear into the back of the crowd.
I assume that it's both the elfish man and woman that you mentioned.
Yes, it is the pair of them.
Well, did you see the guy you were looking for?
I believe so, but I don't believe you know the man, but rather the eyes.
What?
The eyes of whom?
I believe it's one of Varys's posse.
What?
One of the spawn.
In that case, Leo was going to take off into the crowd, saying that we need to go hunt them down.
I lost him over there.
That
That would cause
know.
quite a scene.
Yeah, I don't know if running straight into a crowd of like anti-war protesters saying we need to hunt them down is the
Well, it's not like I'm shouting that at the top of my lungs. I'm saying that to just our group.
Secure kind of floating behind. I don't know if inciting the protesters is the best idea, but maybe trying to follow them, brother.
Well, I'm not going to incite the protesters. I'm trying to look in the crowd for where they are.
Is this much civil unrest normal for festivals?
Depends on the festival.
I mean, that's not technically wrong, but in general, festivals, while being a a time where large groups of people gather together in one city or one area to have fun and all of this, protests often do go out. But the Caladrian Empire is generally considered a pretty happy empire. Air quotes happy as you can be in medieval time, in like a medieval fantasy. But in general, the three faces of the Caladrian Empire, the Court of Lords, the Senate, and the populace, generally are able to at least reach some level of accord. However, it seems it has been pushed past its breaking point for the populace in regards to the acceptance of the Vox Saborum and this likely positive vote for war against the Khatanate Empire.
In my time as a military police, I have only ever had to break up one riot. It was rather small, though. I haven't even seen a protest this size. However, that one riot I did have to break up, well, wasn't really that important. Revedan's sports team lost. Let's just say that.
So I assume my running into the crowd and trying to find them gets nowhere.
So as you kind of move into the crowd, is the rest of the party kind of following behind Leopold here?
A little bit.
Okay. As you guys kind of break through, you don't immediately catch a glimpse of them. However, I will allow a survival check in an attempt to kind of discern which direction they went, as their stealth rolls had both surpassed your guys' perceptions.
Damn, if only I had to roll survival.
Slap a
You
guidance.
right now.
Whoop.
Wait, am I able to as well?
Right now, yeah. I mean,
You
You
I
should
am
slap
like a slight ways.
You should slap that guidance on Rikus, because he is a better survival.
Vegas, take the guidance. Also, Wayne, you have guidance, don't you?
Guidance?
Who cares? 1d4,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
Oof.
That was Lennon.
Oh
Yeah.
no! No!
Alright, come on, buddy.
Damn!
I'm gonna touch myself.
I can't believe
Okay.
you double that one.
Well, he was
Especially a nat 1 with a +7.
plus 7, plus D4. Rolls
Plus a
9.
d4.
Literally rolls a 1 on the D4 and a 1 on the 10. That's not a bad
Wait,
roll.
decent one.
So, as you're kind of searching around trying to find any trace of them, Wayne, as you kind of look up, you see Rikus kind of go off to the side, and you're like, where the heck is he going? As best I can describe, you notice that there's like there's like a disturbance in the crowd in general. Like, this is all very packed streets, and you can almost like see a path that has been taken, where people have kind of spread out. You can't see the people who made the path, but you kind of see it divert down a road just a little ways down, seemingly leading farther south and east into the South Vertasis.
Alright, gang, let's split up.
Alright, dang.
Is that the direction of the inn, or is that a different direction?
So the inn is approximately just south of here. So you're kind of going in that direction, but a little off-center.
Just out of curiosity, what would have survived?
That's how mine
You
moves.
know what? I'll pull up his character sheet.
Yeah, he hasn't been rolling anything.
I rolled a perception. roll.
Secure's just been a
go.
fucking dunce the entire session. What the hell? Oh my God, he actually has been.
He's still
Because-
shaken up from the nightmare, you guys.
He's still shaken up from the nightmare that occurred 36 hours ago.
Yo, Secure, are you sure that knife is good for you?
Secure,
Yo.
Secure just holding
That-
the knife into his chest. Mine, my precious.
Precious.
Oh, he's just excited for his new toy.
So we're all agreeing that the dagger just is the curse is just a 9th level feeble-minded.
Sure.
I love how you say 9th level feeble-minded, even though feeble-minded is an 8th level spell that gains no benefits from upcasting.
No, the benefit of upcasting is you are feeble-minded surrounding a very specific object, and that is the dagger.
Just one specific object. That's great.
The dagger whispers to him
So,
instead of he's completely deaf now. He can't hear anybody else but the dagger whispering.
So that's his excuse for doing nothing this session.
I don't even think.
Is, do you guys wish to attempt to continue this pursuit, in which we will continue skill checks for a little bit in hopes that you guys are able to track them or follow them to wherever they're going.
Why not?
Can I send my bird up in the sky?
You absolutely can. You should have done that earlier. So, now you don't have something for it to like scent track, and it is an owl flying in the bright morning sun. So it's a very out-of-place bird. However, what would you like to say to Oswald as this command? Like, just, hey, try and find this elf person? Like, what is your command here?
Well, he was kind of just like chilling on my shoulder for a little while. I don't know where he was looking at, but if he looked in the direction of the people when it was mentioned, then like he would have at least seen a little bit of what they look like. I mean,
All right.
but
Well, Oswald.
but I don't know if he looked in that direction. But I'll just tell him, hey. Wait, did we get their color of hair and dress and everything like that?
You would have a pretty simple description. They
Okay,
both
I'll give
of
them the
them-
simple
both
description
of
as
them
they go find them.
are-
They're moving away.
Both of them are fair-skinned. The male is the one with yellow eyes. They both have blonde hair. The female seems to have like almost like a teal blue-green kind of eyes. And they're both wearing fairly simple but well-made attire.
And they're moving south-southwest according to Wayne's deductions.
South-southeast.
South-southeast. Sorry, my bad.
So,
South.
Vegas, now's the time for gang signs. We have to focus.
here is a beautiful thing where he may not have as big a bonus as you guys, but he has advantage. So Oswald is going to roll at advantage 2d20 with a +5 bonus. And he rolled a 21.
Oh, anyone?
Woo! Not surpassing the previous 23 of Wayne, but
Damn.
you see Oswald kind of go up, and he's doing passes over this area, and he doesn't come back to you, but he seems to signal that he thinks he's found something by doing a quick circle and then slowly gliding from one rooftop to another down a certain road.
Is this also south-southeast?
This is in the south-southeast direction.
Yippee! My extremely cheap bird that I bought at a great deal price is coming in handy.
We love
My
cheap
burb.
birds.
My burb.
Well, he wasn't exactly cheap, but I did get a hell of a deal on him.
I love how you've cast Speak with Animals once. Probably never to occur again.
Well, I thought about casting it for the moment, but then I was like, eh.
Also, I was going to say, Rakus,
I've taught him Elvish Sign Language. What?
Do you mean to still have your camera off?
I'm finding an opportune time to restart my PC.
And then he'll
I thought you'd already done that for some reason. My bad.
Negative.
You're just high. So.
Not high, but I am drinking, so.
Oh, nice.
Same.
Alcoholics Anonymous?
It's not even
I
anonymous.
think
They
this
know
is
it's
very
just
public.
Yeah, I will mention the other reason I was so
Nate
late
is
home was
absolutely trying
because
to make a quip, but is muted. Oh,
He's also-
drinking. Everyone but the Zacks. Everyone but the Zacks.
so drinking.
Literally, as you were like, "Oh, you damn alcoholics," I was literally pulling the beer out of the fridge.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The other reason I was also late back home was because there was an impromptu small little company party thing going on in the break room, and
Why does your company
I was
have
invited to
damn
partake.
parties?
Not really, but we also just like to hang out with each other. But it was actually a small little celebration party thing because we had our, second quarter financials and we're like destroying it. Like we're fucking knocking it out of the park. And also, one of the Midwest, one of the steel estimators, just haphazardly won a $2 million contract
Damn.
Dang.
at a which is, by the way, for a structural steel company, you are considered a supplier for like a construction, for like general contracting. You supply the welded structured steel. Your margin, like your profit margin, is typically between like 8 and 15%. He got somehow the overall margin of the entire job. Now, granted, this job is like portioned out in different sections, but the overall margin was like 32%
Jesus.
on a $2 million job.
Does this information count as insider trading?
Negative.
He also hasn't said the company, so
They're not publicly owned companies. They're private.
They are not publicly owned.
So
They are LLCs.
They're LLCs.
Just watch
Regardless, so you guys follow Oswald through the streets. I am going to have Oswald roll again, because
Poggers.
you guys continue following for almost.
I need
30
Oswald's stat
minutes.
sheet.
I do need to get you a stat sheet for Oswald, but
Wait.
not now.
Just add his sheet in the little buddies.
Oh, there's a 20.
So it would be a 25. It added both of them together for some reason, even though I said advantage.
Because there's a 2d20.
You just rolled 2d20, not 2d20 keep
I clicked
highest.
the advantage, but I guess I must have misclicked on the d20. Regardless, that is still a natural 20 plus 5. So after another 5 to 10 minutes of following, you guys are like on the river in between the South Vertasis and the Eastern Leocart quarter, and you're on like the far southeast side. Maybe a few blocks down from the second to last bridge before you reach the walls of the city. And Oswald kind of just flies over to one building. It seems a, upper middle class building, well built, 2 stories, maybe a few 2,000-3,000 square feet. But he perches on its chimney and seems to stay.
Does the building have any obvious signages out front saying like, "Oh, this is an inn," or "Oh, this is a tavern," something along those lines?
Be someone's personal residence.
Are there still protests happening around this area?
Not in this area. This is a more residential area. So, you'll see those in more public areas, but not quite as residential.
Does the house have any front-facing windows?
It does have quite a fair few. There, even in the bright morning, you guys can kind of from across the street peek in, and there do seem to be candles lit inside of this home.
Guys, if this is Varys' spawn, why don't we just ask him?
This way we could catch them off guard.
Oh.
I will have you know that if we are wrong about any portion of this, I am not going to be the one explaining why we followed them from the protests to their personal place of residence. I may be legally gray and also physically, but that's just a little weird, Leopold.
Isn't that reasonable suspicion?
I mean, they could easily deny it.
What?
I will admit that I'm far from a legal
That
scholar.
they looked like they looked like a bad guy. Excuse me, sir, but I believe that is racist.
It's not really
How could
racist.
it be racist against elves? I'm an elf. Besides, we've seen figures, if admittedly not necessarily those figures, extremely similar ones with Varys.
Well, when you met me, did you think I was a drow and thought I was evil?
Well, I
You
thought
took
were
one
a
look
drow.
at the fellow
No,
and saw him.
I
You
will
took
admit I
one
thought
look
they
at the
were
fellow.
drow. I didn't think you were evil because of it.
You saw yellow eyes and immediately jumped to conclusions.
How many people have naturally yellow eyes, Rikus?
I
Especially
could name
elves.
at least 4.
And would 2 of them be potentially in that house that we were following?
We probably shouldn't be standing right outside the house having this argument.
I was at least
You guys
assuming
are,
we were like across the
across
street or something.
at least.
Yeah. Okay.
It
Well,
is a
let's
nice house,
let's
though.
put it this way. Let's go knock on their door. We're not breaking and entering or doing anything illegal by just knocking on their door.
What if we just say that we need to get Oswald off the roof? He's not been trained yet.
Sakir, kind of standing by, says, "Is no one else suspicious of some of his troop being here?"
I'm
I did-
incredibly suspicious of it. That's why I want to go talk to them.
I did say
Again,
the
we
other
still
day-
haven't confirmed that they are part of the troop. That would require some
Also
form of due
that.
process.
I did also say the other day that we do know that they were here at least a few weeks ago. In the city.
So, barring no existential objections, I am going to walk over to the door and knock on it.
I am going to, I'm assuming, like, across the street, kind of find some ledging that goes up and kind of just post up there and kind of just watch across the street.
I'll go
Okay.
with Leopold.
I will have Rikus. Sakir will also kind of go up with you. Looking through the windows, I will allow you guys to roll a perception check, and this will be just before
Augers.
he gets to the door.
I can't wait to open, like, I can't wait to my legally gray speech is like open firing across the street into a building.
Fires
They
into
didn't
public-
hear
I'm
who you
legally
said.
gray, and I may also be gray, but we can't just be creeping up on
I
people
did not
because they
hear-
look sus.
I did not hear who you said you wanted rolling.
Sakir and Rikus.
Sakir and Rikus
Okay.
and Wayne, if he wants to get up there.
Wayne, you
Get
gonna
up
hang
where?
out with the boys? Are you across the street or are you following Leopold? Sakir and Rikus are across the street and went up on a ledging.
All right, so if Wayne is across the street, you can also go ahead and roll a perception check.
Poggers.
Oh.
As
Oh.
we're walking up, Leopold, do you want to stick with the story that we're gonna try and get Oswald from the roof? If things go bad.
If we need a story, we can use it, but I would rather not.
So.
Oh boy.
But a few moments, as Leopold is crossing the street, Rikus, you kind of get up and try and peek in some of the windows. You note that you don't see anybody immediately, but you kind of get up on a bit of a ledge as best you can, just quietly and inconspicuously as you can. Kind of peering over, you see into the second floor window. You don't see much from the window, but what you do see is in one of the rooms, like straight through from one of the windows, seems to be this like towering stone figure, almost like a statue or a golem of some form in this second floor room. And you see what appears to be the elven woman who you kind of caught a glimpse of in the streets, seemingly casting something on this stone golem. Do you call out to Leopold to maybe wait, or do you let things proceed as they are right now?
I'm gonna keep an eye on that lady casting the thing on the visage. The visage, just to ask, the visage does not look like a very specific party member of mine that also so happened to cast a stone visage in the middle of the road.
No, this looks nothing like Wayne in any way, shape, or
Thank
form.
Goodness.
Uh,
So I will actually notify the other two that are with me on the other side of the street that I have spotted that on the second floor, but I will not notify the ones that are walking up to the house, so that they don't get
Okay.
nervy.
So as you guys walk up to the door and rap tap tap, you wait for a few moments. Rikus, as soon as this knock goes off, you see this woman immediately kind of look down in confusion. You see her kind of look over, and you see the man enter the frame. You don't recognize either of them right off the top of your head. Let me roll something real quick. You were the one who got the better angle, so Sakir is not quite peeking through at the same spot. But just kind of glimpsing them, you see them trade a sentence or two. And I don't think you have the feat to where you can read lips.
I do not.
But one of them, the man has his back to you either way. They trade what seems to be very quiet sentences. And then the woman kind of looks to the door or to the windows beside, and you see her flick an arm and the windows draw closed. And you see not just the blinds on the window you were looking through, but the 3 other windows that peek the front side of this house are all closed at once. The first floor windows are not. Yes.
Would we hear that? Or at least notice it?
I mean, you guys are right up against the building. You probably wouldn't notice it immediately.
Okay. I was wondering if they were, like, slamming shut.
No, they're not slamming. They're just drawn shut.
Okay.
Yes, Wayne?
I want Rikus to mimic their mouth movements.
No.
So I can read his
The woman's?
No.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
All right.
I have a low intelligence.
If you roll me a natural 20 performance check,
God damn.
I will allow this.
1 in 5.
I got a +1, baby, but I gotta do a natural 20.
You gotta do a
First,
nat 20 either way.
5%.
He kind of looks
I
at
looked
you
at you.
and
It goes
mouths
blah, blah,
for a
blah.
moment, and you are absolutely certain that he just said something absolutely vile, and you're like, he has no clue what was said, and attempting to follow the movements, just the worst game of telephone you've ever played.
Listen, I may have great sight, but I don't have far sight.
As you guys continue to wait at the front door, you wait for another few minutes. No one comes.
Maybe
They're
they're not home.
Knock again, this time harder.
That's a really sad party if no one comes.
Is anybody in?
How long do you wait?
Well,
As
As a player, I really want to break in, but that is not what Leopold would do right now.
Again, legally gray, but super fucking weird. You followed someone from a protest to break into their house and question whether or not they are evil.
I mean, you did also see like a
you
full-size
did also
fucking
say that you-
golem on their second floor.
And but you also did say, let's hunt them down. What are they like? You saw them at a protest and said, let's hunt them down. Like, are you trying to go? Like, did they break the law? Are they illegal?
Okay, they have consorted with somebody. They are members of a group with somebody who is known to break the law, and not even like in a casual sense. They are like, this is spawn, like direct vampire servitude. It's not just like they went to a book club together.
But are they citizens of Revedan? They have rights.
Are they citizens of Revedan? I don't think we actually know.
You guys
I mean, at
have
least
no clue.
So We
They
should
own the
attack
house.
them on site regardless.
Yes.
You know,
No.
forget about asking them any questions. Proof of identification, proof of citizenship. No, all out the window.
Exactly.
No.
Well,
Hmm.
Leopold,
I think that'd be extremely base of Leopold
I
to
also
break
Really
the
think
law.
want to
that would be very
call
base.
Rakus, call Lycus, but he is in a meeting, and I don't want to interrupt him, and he probably has his walkie-talkie set to Do Not Disturb. Wait, Edmund has a walkie-talkie, doesn't he?
Edmund has a talkie to you guys now. Yes.
Yeah, but Edmund doesn't give a fuck about how we saw some guy who had yellow eyes that may or may not be possibly part of Varys' troop.
Well,
Let
I
Leopold
am going...
play.
I'm going to
Let him
ring
run
up
his-
Edmund, and I'm going to ask him if Lycus is currently in a meeting.
You hear a response about 15 seconds later. You hear a yes. Lycus is currently in a meeting. He's only had one or two since you left. Currently a Ridley Ash of Riverchegg. Why? What is up?
Well, we may have found some members of Varys' group, whatever you call them.
All right. And what's the problem?
Well, there's a very strong May. They're currently in a house. At least we believe they're in a house, and they're not answering the door. And I figured I would at least ask Lyx's permission as a form of as much as I do not like expediting this process, at least some sort of legal approval for
Well,
breaking and
the Next Lord
entering.
doesn't have any jurisdiction to legally break into one's house. However, I say, fuck it. Wait for them to leave. See if you can enter a back window. Just make sure you
What
check for the
for?
snares or any alarm spells.
The idea of a stakeout might not be the worst idea.
If you believe they're recognized figures and they're part of a effective terrorist organization, then, especially since their members are connected through Kasseri, I see no reason why a stakeout wouldn't be permissible.
Not exactly how I wanted to spend my day at a festival, but thank you for the insight, Edmund, and whenever Lycus gets a spare moment, tell him to call me. And with that, I'll
will
hang
try
up.
them in the middle.
He may have 30 seconds here and there.
Alright. And with that, still kind of standing for the door, I'll go ahead and just call Rykus and ask him if he noticed anything from his perch.
As you're doing that,
You know,
Let
Oh.
Lennon go.
as
yeah.
you're doing that, Leopold, we've been standing here for a while. Lynn's gonna turn to Leopold. Well, Leopold, it doesn't seem like the owners are home. Let's go grab Oswald off the roof and let's get off their property before somebody complains. Just as cover, in case they're listening.
If we're not actually going to break into the house without cover story, I don't know if it's much use, admittedly. May as well just get Rykus to call the bird back. Although if you do want me to, I can teleport you on the roof. Don't know if he'll do anything up there.
I mean, I probably can climb up.
You could climb up fairly easily.
Shoves a movable
Hey,
rod
Mike.
through the window.
Why don't
Yeah,
you
could
suck on this immovable rod?
Officer, it was
well,
difficult to get here.
So Linen,
to respond to Leopold, I'll tell him it's like, well, funny you asked. I don't know if you noticed, but almost all of the window blinds closed. Second floor, window to the DM. Was it right or left?
It would have been to the right, or in this case, east. You're on a street
Okay,
that runs north-south.
Okay. Second floor, window to the east. The elvish woman was casting a spell in front of a stone visage. When you knocked, the man and the woman exchanged words. Since then, I have not had a view. Thanks for interrupting. I thought I was going to see something fun.
Well, excuse me for not knowing you were being a voyeur. You were finding anything interesting with the voyeurism, I should say. Regardless.
Now, that being said, if we're running with the lie that Oswald is stuck on the roof, I could have Oswald try to escape and bust through the window so I can see again. But Oswald would likely die, given the likely power that this spellcaster has, as she closed all the windows at once. Then again, I have know next to nothing about spells.
For starters, I wouldn't be comfortable with you risking your bird unless you're explicitly comfortable with it. Secondly, that still feels like cheating trying to manufacture a situation like that.
Well, you currently are trying to manufacture a reason to either break in or confront them.
I'm not trying to manufacture a reason to break in. That is, in fact, the exact opposite of what I'm doing. I have rejected 2 plans to the very extent.
Yes, Lennon.
Could I, on my if I'm going up onto the roof, could I cast levitate on myself and then use gust on the way up, and then use gust to try and flutter the curtains a bit on my way up past a window?
Aren't they wood shutters?
Yes, but it says compelled to a point I can see within range.
But would it blow open like wood shutters?
It technically can blow closed wood shutters, so I don't see why not it would be able to open them.
If it's latched closed, but we don't know that.
Let me keep this real quick.
Yeah.
Roll an attack, roll on gust.
The weirdest turn of events. I am trying to keep it.
I could have Oswald throw a rock.
Why?
Just fucking.
You may as well throw the rock.
Yeah, it's just like it's just like a kinetic torpedo, just like comes in really fast and just lets go of the rock and it keeps the same velocity.
He's a dive bomber.
He already has dove and stolen a stuffed animal out of Sakir's hands, I believe.
Okay.
Yep.
True.
So
Nothing ever came of that.
I will allow you to push some wind into one of the blinds. However, I will say it's gonna be noticeable. Like, it's a cantrip. You're not gonna secretly do this. I mean, obviously they're probably not gonna be able to tell where it's from if they're on the 2nd floor, but they're gonna see the blinds go whee.
I mean, jeez. I mean, I was gonna do it on my way up anyways. So they'd
Also,
know.
while in residential area, you are still in a public area where people are walking these streets.
Yeah.
That's
You're just like levitating on a building.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm
It is
levitating.
an owl. It can fly.
That's why I need to levitate.
Two things, DM. I'm also gonna note something down for future. So, one, you mentioned there are people walking around the street. If I just want to ask around, see if anybody knew who lived in this building, how effective would that be? Roll persuasion for
Go
something,
ahead
or
and roll me. I'm gonna say go ahead and roll me. I'm gonna say investigation. I'll say you can roll an investigation and a persuasion together, and we'll combine them.
Hey,
All right.
DM.
Investigation and persuasion.
DM,
13,
Rikus would
19.
like to, seeing the absolute buffoonery that's happening across the street, would like to take a long moment to kind of gaze to the left and right of the street, to the east and west of the street, and see if he spots any city guard.
Any city guard? All right, go ahead and roll a perception with a combined.
And
go ahead.
yeah, well, and also the groupings of them where they're located and whether or not they are definitely going to be paying attention to the fact that there is now a.
He's not floating yet. I am going to put that out there.
He's not floating yet.
He's not floating yet.
He is not floating yet, but someone who is has their body posture in the direction that they would absolutely notice if a fucking Genasi is just floating in the air next to a house.
So, Leopold.
Perfect.
As you kind of go around, you kind of tell Lennon, hold on, let's wait a second. You kind of go about. You kind of ask a couple people on the street, and as this is happening, one of the houses right next door, this little old gnomish lady kind of walks out and seems to begin tending to her garden. And as you're
It's
kind
not a
of
real
doing
garden.
this,
That's Ferris's nuts.
you kind of cheater, Jesus. You kind of look over and are like, well, next door neighbor, probably a good person to ask. So let's RP this. So as you kind of come up, how do you introduce this topic?
How are the flowers doing?
Oh, they're doing great this time of year. The rise has begun.
Yeah, that it has. I will say, you do a remarkable job with that garden.
Oh, well, thank you, young man.
I will say, I think you have the best garden on the whole street. How well do you know your neighbors? You try and show this off?
Oh, we see them from time to time. This is a more older neighborhood, aside from the next door neighbors, but...
What about them?
Oh, they bought the place 2 or 3 months ago. Old people passed away.
Shame. You know anything really about them?
No, mostly keep to themselves. The 1 or 2 conversations I've had, they seem nice enough, but they seem to be travelers. Pretty large group of people. I don't know, 6 to 8. Come in and out every once in a while.
I was wondering if I had the right place. I've been meaning to catch up with some of them. We met a while ago in. Why am I always blanking on the city name of the first arc? It's not Rivacheg. It's not Team Sargoth. Yeah. We met a while ago in Sargoth. Say, do you know if any of them are home right now?
I couldn't tell you. I only just woke up.
Understandable then. But thank you, and hope the gardening goes well.
Yes, have a good festival, young man.
You as well. And with that, actually, before I go, I'm gonna ask if she recognizes somebody who I will give the general description of, Varus. Yes, I got the name right.
Seems to have no recollection of ever seeing one of them that looked like that.
What about his second in command, whose name I forget, that helped us in the Vicious fight?
Sentinel.
She
Sentinel.
also does not distinctify recognizing the description you give.
You should ask 4 more questions about 4 other people.
Why 4 specifically?
No, you should just keep asking questions about descriptions of people that she's possibly seen. She might think you're an undercover cop.
I was gonna say I could also ask about I could also ask about the 2 elves, the people that I vaguely saw in the crowd, and 2.
You mean the ones that definitely walked into this house?
Yes. 2. I'm not even undercover.
You could ask about
But she doesn't know that.
Ask if she's
Yeah,
seen
that's what
Pax.
she hasn't asked.
Ask if she's seen Pax, bro.
No. Anyways, I will after having this wonderful conversation with a little old gnomish grandma, I'm just gonna walk around the perimeter of the building. Are there any back doors?
As you kind of
No, but you do see a scrying eye.
As you walk around the side, there is both a and you can't really walk around the side because they do have fences that kind of block off what seems to be the backyard. It's not just an alleyway, but from what you can see, and they're just standard metal fences, so you can still see through them. On one side of the house, there does seem to be a door that enters into the house, and on the other side, there seems to be a basement entry of some form, like a cellar, a pair of cellar doors on the outside of the house.
Alright then.
DM, what am I rolling again?
What are you rolling?
That's all that I've got.
For spotting guards, just a standard.
Yeah, standard perception.
Okay, I thought you were at. I thought you kept.
No, I was doing that for Leo.
Okay.
Oof.
That was so close.
There are no guards on this street currently.
Cool. How wide is this street?
This street, it's residential, maybe about 15, 20 feet wide.
Okay, so up on the ledge I'm at.
On either side.
Okay, cool. Up on the from the ledge that I'm at, looking up at Oswald. Would I gauge that's about 30 feet or less?
From the ledge you're at to Oswald, probably closer to 40. 35.
Damn, how tall is this building?
Like I said, it's a 2-story and he's on top of the chimney, which is closer to the back end of the building.
Okay, well, I'm going to gang sign to him to get closer to the ledge that's facing the street.
Okay.
Now, how close is he?
He gets within 30 feet.
Leopold. am I
Okay,
getting-
I'm going to turn and look at. Okay, I gotta turn on my camera for this one.
No.
Screw if my Discord's gonna go absolute to shit again.
Immediately DCs.
But so I'm gonna turn and look at Secure and Wayne, kind of making eye contact with them, shove my hands in my coat pockets and just make a, and then just disappear as I Raven Queen blessing teleport up to Oswald.
Oh, I thought you were gonna hit him with like a piece.
Literally just disappears.
I'm just like shoving my hands in my pockets and going, just like, bye.
So you teleport up onto the roof. Do you quickly try and get behind the ridge of the roof so that you're not being able to be seen from the streets?
Damn, cool.
See, I gauged the streets and said there are no guards within the
There are
general
people
vicinity.
still.
Yeah, but they're not paying attention to the fact that I just noped out of nowhere, and then just they're not gonna think to look up on the roof.
On the roof of a house in a residential area is kind of like a, excuse me, what the fuck?
He's just doing some contracting.
Well, as soon as I literally, my hands are still in my pockets. As soon as I warp up there, I'm just gonna continue walking. So it's only gonna be a brief moment where they could possibly see me. So it's hands in pockets, just continue walking along across the roof. I feel like if I barrel roll, that might make a lot of noise.
If I was beside him and he's now 30 feet away,
You could also teleport onto the roof if you wanted.
No, I was going to do minor illusion to make it a shield of minor illusion, just looking like a normal roof.
I'm sorry.
Like,
I'm
think-
not letting my... You could provide some kind of, opaque wall up there as best you can. But if someone's actually looking up there, they're still gonna be able to see it.
Damn.
Just make him look like a really big bird.
It's minor illusion. It's a cantrip. It's a distraction, not a. I am going to completely disguise this person from being here.
You could have minor illusioned some fireworks so everyone looks up and sees me.
Yeah, that probably
Do it in
You
the
have
other
a firework.
direction, though.
Yeah, just
I
pop
do have,
fireworks above the house
firework.
in the other direction.
No, minor illusion of flash grenades so everyone thinks that there's riot police showing up
Why?
and scatters.
Literally just.
I'm going to
everybody
just
hits that cartoon.
minor illusion his shirt so that it says ice on the back.
No.
I say one protest, and ice is the only joke we can make. I
I mean, ice is probably better than ice is.
Okay, but let's be real here. you said one protest, and it did not help that Leopold is deciding to hunt someone down from the protest because they looked like a bad guy. And he
They look like a
now
terrorist.
he wants
There's a
to
difference.
break and enter
I do
without
not want
a
to
warrant.
break and enter.
He does
This
not.
is-
No,
doesn't
without a
want to break and
warrant.
enter, but I'm considering this disappointing.
Look,
As
this is
the-
just
Without a
this is
warrant.
just a no-knock raid.
As the one non-white person in this call is very uncomfortable.
I'm not white.
Yes, you are.
Hey,
I'm white as fuck. Anyway,
I'm only half white.
oh,
what'd you say, Nate?
I'm only half white.
I mean, depends on what we call white.
yeah.
Yeah, the
I'm
lower
only
half of me is
technically
black.
half white, but my skin says 100%.
If we're
Anyways, conversations about race aside, what are you doing on the roof?
Yeah, what are you doing on the roof? You just kind of walk over the crest to make
Yep,
sure
I'll walk
you're
over the
on
crest and
street.
just kind of start walking around the roof, see if there's. I mean, I'm assuming there's a roof opening, but
Okay, I'm going to.
but I'm going to see if there's a roof. Like, one, if there's a roof hatch, and two, I'm just going to be able to peer into the backyard and look.
Firstly, are you doing
more around.
this in some way stealthily?
I am not trying to make footstep sounds on their roof. No,
Roll me a
given that it
stealth
is a
check.
two-story building.
Roll me
Given that it is a
stealth check.
two-story building, and I am walking right above their heads.
Roll me a stealth check and roll me a perception.
Stealth.
roof.
Thank God I have a plus 10. Perception.
Also, oof.
Good
Thank
thing
God I
you
have a plus 10.
So, as you're kind of looking around this roof, Oswald's kind of hopping around beside you. There is no roof hatch. However, as you're kind of peering around, you hear a door open. And as you
Oh,
kind of,
shit.
peer into the backyard, you kind of go prone on the roof to where you're just barely peeking over the side into the backyard, with Oswald behind you, not visible. And you see 4 people exit the back of this building, 2 of which are the 2 that you saw earlier, along with another pair. One is a human, one is a halfling. Non-distinct features, brown hair, and they kind of exit this building and swiftly make their way towards the back fence, which does have kind of like a gate to it, into a small alley in between the houses in the backyards, and they open it up and seemingly swiftly make their way west towards the nearest street. They do not seem to notice you as they exit the house. However, one of them, the woman, did stop briefly at the door, and you heard some kind of latch go off. Yes, Leopold.
I'll say, would this be when I was walking around the building?
This would, if we're talking order of operations, you would be like finishing up at this point. However, it would be very difficult for you to catch. I'll let you roll a perception check for it. It's going to be a very high DC for you to see it, though.
12. Dang, I can't believe I rolled a 9 with advantage.
So, no, you do not see it. You're kind of like wrapping up, looking around the sides, before you kind of just turn back and kind of look over towards Linen and just like, okay, well. So, as you see this, Rikus, what do you say?
I'm gonna Shadowfell gang sign to the Oswald, Sir Oswald,
Oswald's gonna kind of like,
to follow them at a distance and see where they end up landing, or where they end up going, or wherever he loses track of them, and then report back to me.
You see Oswald kind of scruffle his feathers a little bit, and then
But right before he takes off, I say, "Don't get caught."
he seems to acknowledge as best as an owl can before taking off.
Okay, well, after that, I radio to Leopold and the rest of the party. Well, it's your lucky day, Mr. Break and Enter. They have left the vicinity.
They have not broken entered, and where have they gone?
No idea. Oswald's going to figure that one out. They exited the backyard. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm up on the roof.
I'll get angry at that later. Right now I'm angry at the fact that I was just back there. Alright, let's go. And I will make my way to the backyard or I guess back alley and
hopping a fence.
You
Wait,
would straight up be
I'm
hopping
the
the fence into
fence.
their backyard, and then hopping a fence.
I am not
into their
breaking and entering.
You're not breaking and
I'm not.
entering.
Wait,
Does
wait, guys.
anybody else want to break and enter?
Wait, hold on. Rekus, you're on the roof, right?
Rikus is
Yes.
on the roof.
I mean, now that they're gone, we can... I still have Gust. We can just flutter the windows of the blinds a bit, see what's inside the room before we leave.
But you'd have to gust hard enough to push past a window
No,
latch.
they're blinds.
They're blinds.
They're
Like
cloth
cloth
blinds.
Yeah.
Are you saying that we do that and then have Secure teleport in?
No, no. We see what's in the room.
As soon as he gets line of sight from the gust, he could just teleport in.
This is not the first time we've had Secure teleport into a room blind, and we probably shouldn't do
No,
it.
I think we should. I think this is something absolutely that Secure would do.
This is something Secure has done, and it didn't go well. Actually,
Exactly.
Look,
It's par for the
regardless of
course.
those
I want to
shenanigans,
see
I would
Rikus
like
do
to
a
try and
backflip off the roof.
Yeah.
down.
Teleport in from there.
I would like to try and follow this
Just backflips and like as he's like body out, just like as if he was skydiving, just looks up and peers into the bedroom. You're gonna make me roll an acrobatics performance and luck.
Yep.
I'd be good on the acrobatics, but
Well,
the performance might fail.
Does anybody want to see what's in this room, or should we just leave?
I am already
Leopold really wants to.
doing my best to follow the owl. I cannot stop you from breaking and
Why are you
entering.
following
I'm not-
the owl?
I'm not breaking or
Because the
entering.
owl is following them.
I'm not breaking or entering. I'm just using magic to flutter some blinds.
But I also told you that the owl will report back to me when he has either A, lost sight, or B, seen where they were headed. Like if
Well-
they entered another building.
I mean, yeah, but it's going to be easier to find them if we're already part of the way there.
Okay. The DM is like, I was not planning to spend the last 2 hours of session just
No, this was planned.
We
I-
also
Oh,
we
this
also
was-
not
we
been playing
took-
for 2 hours.
This was planned if a singular person rolled a nat 20 on a perception check. That is literally the only way we get this side arc.
Okay.
damn.
Guys,
We took that bait, hook, line, and sinker, dog.
Yes,
He's
you did.
waiting for us to break and enter.
Fair,
Yeah,
you
he
gave
wants
like
to-
Waiting.
He wants the Inexorables party that is supposed to be representing the Inexorables to absolutely get caught by the city guard, breaking and entering.
Okay.
at the very least, it
So-
will not be me breaking that
Is
ring.
anyone? So Leopold is wishing to follow, just continuing on beside them. Yes, Wayne.
With
I
them
cast Fireball.
all debating back and forth, I'm just going to walkie-talkie them all and say, hold on just a moment before we do anything. And I'm going to sit down on the steps across the way from this house, and I'm going to cast divination.
It's actually a great idea. Leopold would already be on the way, but that is a great idea. How long does divination take?
It's an action.
6 seconds.
Yeah. he
Okay,
just pulls
I
out some
wanted to make sure
incense,
it wasn't
lights
like
it
10
on
minutes
fire,
spell.
and says, "Daddy."
Daddy, should we break into this house?
Okay. I'm gonna have to double check divination again, because divination's so goofy in its wording. So you question about a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. This is an activity, breaking into the house.
Yep.
You
Would we enact justice breaking into the house?
as you kind of sit down crisscross applesauce, you kind of hone in and like, Daddy, should we break into this house? This like, again, this grainy green like
Wayne locks in.
Reality opens up, and you hear a like the end of a sigh, and fire is preferred. The house will provide hints to near future events. Beware the snares and alarms on the doors and windows.
I told you. Wait, I didn't tell you. The DM was the one who dropped that bit already. I can't wait for the divination part to become an absolutely regular occurrence.
Literally every session, we get a, Daddy, can I get some advice?
I love imagining that Wayne's just over here like in a meditative position and is just like just fucking locks in and just goes, Daddy.
I love Wayne, the like deep south cult preacher, just going, Daddy, can I get a piece of advice? Just turns.
It's not even in
like,
the southern twang too. Imagine if you were going, Daddy, can I get a piece of advice?
Nah, I like the Valley Girl accent
it
way
is that
better
Valley
for
Girl.
it.
That's his praying accent, don't you know?
Yeah, everyone's got a praying accent.
And yours, from LA.
The other side of Joel Osteen.
Dude, if Joel Osteen spoke like a Valley Girl whenever he prayed, that would be the funniest shit. Anyway, what do you do with that piece of information?
I will relay it to the party saying, I asked and we have received. We must go into this house. There's info in there we need.
Do you say anything about the alarms?
Yeah, I mentioned it.
Yeah, they got alarms and snares in there.
Okay, so alarms and snares, before the air Nazi blows the blinds open and my bald ass brother decides to warp in there blind again.
Hey, his ass isn't bald, just his head.
Right?
I mean,
fly.
We don't.
Only
actually know
Sentinel
that.
would know, and Leopold, but
Alright. Anyways, so you want to see into this room or not?
How do you guys go about entering this household?
I don't think we have any means of magically disarming anything.
no. But I could lockpick the back door.
I was gonna say, does Wayne, because Wayne would be the only person who would have access to third level spells, of which dispel magic is one.
I got fireball.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
I don't think he has any dispelling magic.
Okay.
The house burned down. Can't have any spells left. If there's
Leopold,
no surface for the spell to adhere to.
Leopold,
We do not need Wayne burning down a second house.
Open.
I could detect
Wayne
magic.
would be the party arsonist at that point.
Yes.
Everybody needs one.
Hold on, question. You're on the roof, right? How big is the chimney?
Oh god.
Not large enough to go down if you
Dang.
are a human being.
Because I was
Can
gonna
I
say
see the
there's
bottom of the
The
chimney?
owl.
for the chimney.
Can you see the bottom of the chimney? Roll me a luck check. We're gonna see if you
Fuck
can
yeah.
see into the bottom of the chimney from here.
All right.
Leopold, if
Slash
you have,
RD
You
20.
can definitely
plus
not how chimneys
1.
are made, but I'm willing to allow it if you get a high enough dice roll.
Leopold,
Well,
if you
old
have
ass
detect
chimneys
magic
didn't
on a
have
door
filter
or
vents,
window,
so
I have a scroll of dispel magic that we can use on the door or window to dispel any magic
damn.
snares or alarms.
That was once again almost a 20, and then it rolled to the 8.
Yep. You
Jeez.
cannot see the bottom now. You
Damn.
said you had a scroll of dispel magic, Lennon?
I have a scroll of dispel magic, so if there's
I
any
also
great,
have
but you
one
have
of
to-
them.
entrances, we can dispel
I
it.
would like to clarify with dispel magic. Don't you have to see the magical thing
You just have to know it's
to dispel it? But you,
You can
wouldn't
dispel
know.
invisibility.
You can dispel
Which-
invisibility, which is something you can.
You just have to know it's invisible.
So it okay.
Well, but-
So it
but
has a
like-
range
like-
of 120 feet. The target is one creature, object, or magical effect within range. It does not mention line of sight.
Okay, but okay. So even if he knows snares are there, but doesn't know where, it doesn't matter.
Well, I know the
But then
Well, for the snares, it would probably be more valuable to hit the alarm, which is just a spell cast on a door or window.
Yeah.
Because the
So
alarm will ping saying, "Hey, someone's in here," because they entered through this area.
So
The snare's
we
just
pick,
gonna try and wrap you up.
yeah. So we pick a specific entrance we want to go into, and then we dispel it, and that disables the alarm for that specific entrance.
well, through the window you're gonna gust and have my brother just boom up there.
Yeah, but all of
I'm
us
just
have
kidding.
to
Do
Because the
door.
window, you have to get in there.
Yeah.
So
Also, I will say, Leopold was still actively chasing after them, so it's going to take him a while to get back. So if you guys have broken into the house
Oh, you're
before
coming.
then,
You're
nothing
coming
he can do
back.
to
You're not.
stop you.
You're not going to continue following them. You said,
I mean,
I don't care what you guys do, and then left. And now
okay, well, that was before we got guidance from a god saying, "Hey, you should break into that house." It may not be legal justification, but it's a hell of an
And now we
incentive.
have
It's
divine.
divine.
he didn't say you should break into that house.
That is how
said
Wayne.
You should break into
that-
that.
that is how Wayne.
Our resident priest has
I have received a message from God that I must break into these people's houses without a warrant. These
I
people
must-
that were at protests that are evil and must be hunted.
Go inside their house and steal all of their
God told me
wire.
to. God told
have-
me to.
listen,
It's
we
justice.
are in the night
It's
because
just.
They're
God
here
is the God of
illegally.
justice.
They entered this country without the proper visa.
It's just ice.
Damn it!
People are gonna, the two
This is
people
a
that
weird
randomly
episode.
watch this video in the next 5 years are gonna think we're so red pilled. It's great.
This is a weird episode. I'm gonna be honest.
So, what door are you guys gonna try and enter? There, you probably don't want to do the front door. You probably want to either do the side door or the back door.
We're going in that back door, ready or not.
Well, I can break into the back door.
No, but it's alarmed.
Well, after it's disarmed, we'll.
I only
Yeah.
have one dispel.
Yeah. So,
It'd be really funny if they alarmed every single nook and cranny in the house.
It's Varys. I wouldn't be surprised.
Is it Varys? It could be Varys' brother. It could be Varys' daddy. It could be Varys' uncle.
It could be
Or
his
it
other
couldn't
brother.
be Varys at all. And just a very high-level spellcaster that we're definitely fucking with their shit.
I mean, that's
Didn't-
that's a good day off. Let's be honest.
Didn't you like literally see two of them? Hold on. Did we get confirmation of the other two being Varys's?
no.
No, they were nondescript two other figures. One a human, the other a halfling. Right?
Yes,
Sure.
that is correct. So,
Oswald needs to get better at his descriptions.
all aboard.
No, that's what I saw.
All aboard entering the back door. 3, 2, 1, we're doing it.
How are the rest of you getting over to the back
I'm
door?
for the side door, but you know.
The fence is pretty. It's not very tall. There is a way to open it too. It's not locked.
Just open the gate and walk back there.
I'm for the side
Immediately
door.
sets off an
The
alarm.
gate is alarmed. Yeah.
I'm for the
Uh,
side door because you know, it's not immediate.
Hey, why don't you lie to the old lady and tell her that you lost your pet owl in her backyard, and then hop the fence that way?
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Okay, so side door or back door? Let's try and actually move this along.
Back door.
Back door.
Side door.
God, you guys are gonna fuck it up so hard.
You're gonna get me fucking pissed. Okay, so
We'll
by
go
the way,
back
the
door.
side door is within view of the street, so
Okay.
people will notice you walking by.
Fine, we'll do back door then.
Okay, so I need you to make me a check, which will be a check using your spellcasting modifier. In this case, your
Charisma, I think?
charisma. I don't. So this would technically be your your charisma stat, your bonus stat,
Yeah.
plus your proficiency modifier.
Which is 4, right? I think it is.
right now.
Proficiency is 3 currently.
3.
Okay.
I think I was 4 at 8.
So
No.
3 plus whatever else you've got, and you need to roll an 11. That is our DC.
Oh shit! I thought we were waiting for Leopold to detect magic.
I thought you guys. I mean,
Okay.
I thought you guys were gonna go before me, but if you are gonna wait for Leo, you can.
That is up to you. But the longer you
I
hang
like-
out in a backyard or side yard,
Roll,
the more
roll, roll,
conspicuous it is.
Alright.
Roll,
Is there
roll, roll.
anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, I'm gonna slap a guidance on myself here.
Okay.
Or if guidance doesn't work, then bless.
It's a check.
This would be a spell check. So I'll
Okay,
let guidance.
so 1d20 plus 1d4 plus that number.
Dude, if anyone's been watching this Air Genasi for a little while now, they're like, dude, is this guy schizo? Like every now and then he just goes guidance.
28.
28 is crazy overkill. Sakir
Yikes.
is going to remain on the main thoroughfare to see if anybody enters the front door or if any guards go by and seem suspicious. He's the watch out.
So he's not gonna blindly teleport into the building.
No, he won't.
He will not attempt to blindly
control
teleport
Sakir right
into the
now.
chimney.
I am not retarded. Anyway, so
But would Secure do it?
We need to reduce the
Not
amount of
Not
shenanigans.
today. So you guys,
The shenanigans only increase.
so
Yeah.
Lennon kind of sensing out this alarm, you immediately dispel the lock that
Yep.
holds this alarm. The door is still locked, so someone will have to pick it.
Whee!
But it is dispelled.
Woo!
This would be a
Whoops, that's not the correct.
sleight of hand.
This is a sleight of hand check, yes.
Whee!
What is in here? Okay. Just gonna.
22.
Very
That's-
quickly and deftly inserting your pieces and unlocking the door, opening it slowly,
Inserting.
inserting. Yep.
Inserting your pieces, you put the gun.
Can you say that? Can you
Roll
say
a
that
perception check
like
real quick.
in a deeper tone, slightly slower?
Inserting.
Roll a perception check, I guess.
He's doing so.
Oof.
God damn, I cannot roll above 10 for
As
perception.
soon as you step in the door, I need you to roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Motherfucker! Luckily, I'm good at these.
Door rolls a 1.
Wait. Saving throw. Normal. I'm so glad I'm good at these.
As you walk into the area, you almost hear a whip crack, and your very, very quick feet immediately like dash into the room just a little bit as
Side steps.
this nearly invisible rope whips out towards your ankle and attempts to hang you upside down from the ceiling. You are able to dodge it though.
Sidestep dodges it, but it whips so hard it slaps Lennon in the face, and he's like, "What the fuck, man?"
It goes back and it's like borderline imperceivable, but it is still just hanging over the doorway.
So Lennon totally just thought I just slapped him in the face.
Yeah, pretty
Lennon
much.
did not get hit by it.
What the fuck is
Damn.
that about, man?
Did it make like the cowboy whip sound?
Yes. There was a.
Fuck yeah. Then Lennon's looking up at me like, who did you just let?
Yeah,
Right,
Rikus,
Lennon?
what is that about?
Either way,
Snares and
since
traps.
you know it's there, it's fairly easy to avoid or I'm gonna get around. So you guys are all able to enter the home. As I said before, it is a 2-story home. Seemingly, it does have a externally entered basement, possibly internally entered as well. You guys haven't searched it yet. What are you guys looking for? What would you guys like to do as you investigate this home?
Well,
Well,
what's the first room we enter?
I know of at least something that exists on the second floor, east
enter
room.
into a kind of like back of a kitchen. It's kind of there's a lot of food here. It's a pantry, you could say.
Food.
I'll say, when would Leopold be arriving, do you think?
He'll be
Maybe
arriving
about
in a
now?
minute or two.
Okay.
Maybe
Also,
less.
do you guys close the door on your way in?
Why would we do that?
That way, if nobody walks up, they see an open back door.
But what if it resets the alarm?
Yeah. I only
You
had
can
one.
like
to
leave it almost closed.
You can just crack it a little bit.
sell.
Just crack.
Linen-
DM, are we planning to RP every single room?
No.
Okay, thank God.
Linen is gonna like scribble a quick note.
Says
Paste it on the
Thomas,
door.
one of the biggest time wasters of the campaign.
Honestly,
Dear
Linen's gonna-
Lord, my dude.
Linen's gonna scribble a small note saying, "Watch out for the snare, Leopold." Paste it. Actually, no, he has a sending stone. Leopold, watch out for the snare.
No, you should leave a sticky note.
You know what?
You
No,
should.
I'm gonna go with that.
Hold on.
Paste
Doesn't the
sticky note.
snare
Leave it in a language he can't read.
Doesn't the snare reset?
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Or hold on, doesn't it not reset?
No, it's-
I thought it was single use.
it
Not this
is
one.
until dispelled or triggered.
Yeah, so it got triggered and Rikus passed the save.
But it's invisible in the first place. And I don't know if you guys would know. Do one of you have dispel?
You're gonna walk into an invisible noose that tried to lasso me.
Regardless, so as you guys enter
Yeah.
into this pantry, it immediately opens up into a kitchen. It's fairly large. It seems all of the candles were very recently blown out. And as you guys kind of go through this first floor, there's a living area. There is a singular bedroom on the first floor and kind of an entertainment room that has a piano and a couple other things inside of it. It seems to have been fairly hastily closed up. All of the blinds drawn. The biggest thing you guys notice is the candles are still standing very tall. They do not seem to have seen much use, with very little burnt wax around the bottom. And secondly, like in above the banisters
Bodily fluid?
and around the area, no, you do not see any bodily fluid yet. But around this area, it's dusty. It does not seem very well kept.
Sounds like they could.
This
use
is all the first floor?
That's all on the first floor.
Cool.
I would like you guys to roll me an investigation check for the second floor.
Alright.
love
Once
investigation
again,
checks.
Would Leo be there for the second floor?
Yes, he will be here for the second floor.
You know what?
I would also like to
Take
use
guidance.
my wand of detect magic to cast detect magic.
Every single window and door lights up with both an alarm and a snare.
Okay, I just wanted to make
Not-
sure that there was
not
like
inside the
nothing
building,
else.
But every
Hey, what about
external-
what about the fence gate?
The fence gate does not light up.
Oh, thank God.
So close.
Lyndon, you would have fucked us all.
What do you mean? Anyways.
Damn, I am just rolling like dog shit today.
Alright. Investigation.
Yep.
Eve. Was that
And
with the
then-
guidance as well? I
yeah.
guess. Oh, not
Did
that.
I have a guidance?
Yes, I gave
I
you
don't think it'd
guidance.
make a difference.
No, not
It won't
really.
make much of a difference, but you can go.
How
ahead and
did
roll.
Linen roll
Ooh.
higher than you?
All right, Wayne's the only one who rolled well.
Hey,
Fuck you, I rolled
15.
higher.
Okay, yours hadn't come through
Hey,
on my end yet.
Okay.
So Leopold and Wayne, as you guys kind of go about this place, this kind of this crescent staircase that kind of goes up onto the second floor. There's a hallway, and it's like along the end of the building, and there's 2 doors to your right. They're both shut, but the detect magic does not pick anything up. As you guys kind of go in and open up the first room, you immediately see there's like a traditional like inset table in the middle of this room with a smoldering fire going out, which is kind of weird. There is some level of ventilation in this room because there is a chimney off to the side, and it seems to like be the smoke seems to like waft towards the chimney and up and out of the home. But you immediately notice a bedroom and a few tables around the area. The thing that catches your eye immediately is the walls are covered in like hunted animal heads where they've been chopped and like set up as trophies, and they're of all different types of creatures. You even notice, unable to be hung from the wall due to its weight, a small dragon head sitting on the floor by the corner. As you
We dealing with the werewolves that escaped?
As you look around the room, you notice there is a singular like pot on one of the tables in the back corner by this dragon head. And I'll say, Lennon, you kind of go over and only because you're closer does Rikus not catch it first, as you immediately smell blood inside of this pot, and you kind of pop it open, and there is the scent of warm blood coming from this, and you look inside, and sure enough, you have a couple gallons of blood inside of this pot.
I'm gonna shove it into Lennon's bag.
Not again.
I was about to say Secure would do it, but I remembered he's not here. He's playing Watch Out.
I'm doing it specifically because I think it'd be funny, because Secure has a barrel of blood.
Both in
Anyways,
this bedroom and from the hallway, both have a door into the next room, which is the only other primary room on this floor. And as you guys kind of open it in, I'm describing from the hallway, you look out immediately into the wall, 30, 40 paces down, which look out over the street, which Rikus would have looked through. So you look immediately right of the door, and there is this probably 8 or 9 foot tall statue. It seems to be of some form of like dwarven features, but obviously large, which is holding like a warhammer, setting it on the ground in front of it. And Leopold, you with your detect magic in this room, not only immediately note that, but 2 other golems along the other wall where you would not be able to see from the window, and all 3 of them ping as magical.
I will tell everybody to be careful because these things are in fact magic, and we don't want to accidentally set off a golem.
DM, is there any writing anywhere on these golems
I'm
or on the
getting-
statue?
I'm
Okay.
getting there. So on the golems and statues, there is some small runic print, but it is merely the runes to activate the magic of these creatures. However, on some of the desks nearby, Lennon, you notice the most intriguing thing to you, which is books. Lots.
Let's go.
And lots and lots of books. You kind of go through and you immediately note a large series of tomes on like how to program and reprogram golems, how to disarm or reprogram magical defenses that have like a centralized almost like server or arcane conduit that supplies them with their magical power. And there are thousands of pages of enhanced wizarding techniques on how to disarm or like rewrite the foundation of these spells or effects, these wards and guards, after they have been casted.
Sweet. Yoink. No.
Yes.
Question, DM. Would I know of anywhere in the city that, like, just would have some of these golems that they might have, taken and reprogrammed?
Give me I want to say a history check.
Lynn's gonna like turn to Regus. Are these legal?
21?
21. I am going to roll contested here. The world rolls against you.
Regus, are these
Oh.
legal to have?
Personal property.
To your guys' knowledge, they definitely wouldn't be dogs you could take on a walk. Not necessarily illegal, but certainly frowned upon. If one were to have it in like, a popularized area. So
Are we talking about the
Leopold,
golems?
Yes, the golems. The first things that come to mind are there are plenty of wizards' towers that are known of having a lot of magical defenses and having golems outside. A few of the banks inside of places like Suno and especially Revedan. Revedan's very prominent in having golems set outside, and they'll have statues galore, and you don't know which ones are the golems or which ones are just statues. That also being said, it's not uncommon for you to see them in royal houses. Sun Hall, the whole district, is littered with magically enhanced golems and arcane wards and guards that you don't know if they have a centralized arcane conduit or anything like that, but the whole place is littered with them.
DM, in with the books, are there like any bookmarks or anything that kind of
They
give
seem
an
to
idea?
have all been thoroughly thumbed through multiple times.
Just take all the books into your bag of holding.
That's what I'm thinking, but like if they come back and see all the books are gone,
He already stole a pot of blood. That Rubicon has been crossed.
you know what? Fine. Sweep. Also, I'd like to
I very heavily disapprove of this, by the way.
can we get a quick sketch of like these golems and the statue just to take back?
You would be able to take a very quick sketch.
Yeah.
Can that sketch include the runes?
Yes, please.
Yes, you'll be able to write the runes down as well. You kind of run through it really quick. Two seem to be like of a larger dwarven visage, and then one seems to be like almost that of a hawk, just a large hawk.
Finally, the dwarvish-ish like visage. Is that like cultish in any way?
No, it is not cultish.
Okay.
Hey, Zach.
Yes.
You're gonna hate me for this joke. So there's a hawk and two of them dwarves.
Good lord.
And with that, we are killing Leopold.
He's dead!
Hey, at least Linen isn't the first to
With
die.
that, one of the golems reaches out and swipes the head off of his shoulders, dealing 428 damage.
Good lord.
Dang.
Dang, if
Alright.
only he could have survived a little bit longer. As you look around the room, there is no notes or any information that detail you towards what target or what kind of place seems to be the reason why they're practicing this style of magic. But, I just listed out a handful of areas that Leopold would know of. But, to put it plainly, Leopold's not spent a lot of time in Suno. He might not have even entered the Sun Hall before, which is a pretty vast area, lots of people. It's where the Caladrian Senate building is. It's where the courthouses are. And then behind all of that is the keep.
DM, I just realized rereading the scimitar that I have in my inventory. If I spent 3 hit die, I could have been immune to all the alarms.
Yes, you could have.
And the snares,
Oh,
unless they're
well.
above level 2.
Regardless, you guys continue searching about the house. You are unable to find anything more of interest with the rolls that you made.
Is good old Oswald back outside the house?
Not yet.
No call from Lycus yet either, saying he's got a minute?
Lycus is not called back yet, no.
This is a tad unfortunate. So, like, some of these golems, you said they're placed outside a lot. I can just, like, walk up to the Senate building, right? At least the outside.
Today you might have a difficulty getting into Sun Hall, as there's no publicly ordained events occurring. So you would have to get some kind of passage into the district. But tomorrow morning you'll be able to.
I can't just say that I'm a nobleman and that I have nobleman business for my family in here, can I?
You could try.
I have one of the ideas of all time.
I have an idea.
Might need to go hit up my brother. Provided he's free, but...
Alright, so.
That's at the very least, leave the house, get out onto the street, just, I don't know, start walking some way that is away from the scene of the crime.
Oops.
Alright, so as you guys all exit the home, exit the premises, get back on the street, you just went to...
We make sure to close and lock all the doors.
And lock all the doors. Do you guys wish to head towards the Golden Goose at this point?
I mean, we haven't really got anywhere better to be.
You said there was a basement?
Oh, yeah.
There is a basement, which seems to only have an external entrance.
And are there any alarms and snares on it?
There are.
Well, I don't have a dispel scroll.
I would be immune if I grabbed my blade.
I have it on the scroll of dispel magic.
Let's go. We still had them.
Because I believe we got ours at the exact same time.
We did. All right. Well, while we're here, let's check it out.
So, what exactly? It's just like
It's a
spellcasting modifier
check.
plus
It's a
proficiency,
spellcasting
right?
modifier plus proficiency is how I rule it.
I'll slap another guidance on Leopold.
Oh wait, the dispel magic doesn't work like counterspell. Never mind.
My plus 3. 18.
Alright, yeah, you were able to successfully dispel the alarm, and therefore, lockpick. I won't make you roll the lockpick, it's a pretty low DC. Popping the door open, dodging the snare won't be too difficult. So as you guys make your way down, it is a pretty small cellar. However, as you enter in, there is a wine rack to your left, which does seem to be pretty full of different vintages of liquor. However,
Wayne wants to.
We bag of holding all of it. No, I'm just kidding.
what immediately catches your eye is the back wall stacked with 6 boxes, 3 stacks of 2, which have this hammer and iron over a star. This is the same kind of crates that you saw in the Longhorn estate.
Longwood?
Longwood estate, yeah.
Breaking. Oh, I guess for starters, I assume they are not magic.
No, they are not magic, and one of them is already broken open, but you would have to pull it off the top and down.
Yeah. Is it the same swords in them?
The box that you immediately pull down does have some of those blades. It also does seem to have some differing types of firearms in there.
I thought the ones in the other one were Anvil and 7 Stars.
Were they? I could have sworn it was just 1 star.
Is this the symbol of the Light Star Forge?
Yes, this is the symbol of Lightstar Forge. Not like any of you really know it, though.
Man,
I
whoever these guys
apologize.
are really
It is
making a lot of stuff.
what Wayne mentioned. The Anvil and 7 Stars.
Whoever these
Oh,
guys
it's
are,
Light
show me-
Star, not Dawn Star Forge.
It's the Lightstar Forge, yeah. Again, your characters wouldn't really know that piece of information.
Nope.
Really, but
Well,
As
that's just
somewhat
what I
of
have
a.
in notes.
I'm
So
sorry.
I just want to write in my notes because that's what I thought when I
yeah.
Yeah.
thought, but I couldn't.
As somewhat of a firearm aficionado myself, what is the quality of these weapons?
They're high quality, but they're not as good as yours.
Is this
High
like
quality because mass produced.
So
And then, I mean, you may as well break open the rest of the crates, right?
Well, shit, we're already here breaking and entering, dog. You wanted to do this in the first place.
I wanted to get Lycus's approval.
anyways.
Oh yeah, we gotta ask Daddy Lycus if we can break into this baddie's house that we're trying to hunt. Daddy Lycus, can I please hunt down these baddies at the protest?
Anyways, guys, we probably should. This is the second time we've seen this symbol. Should we note these guys down as a supplier for Varys's?
Dude, that'd be wild.
Second
I'm
time
sorry.
is first time was Vicious, but you do have a point. We
Probably
should talk
investigate
with
these guys.
Yeah.
As you kind of note this down, inside the box you see a note, Leopold. That
From
as,
Varys.
As you kind
God.
of pull it out, the note does not say from Varys, but as you kind of open it up, it says property and delivery by the Lightstar Forge to Valarium Holdings.
Write that down, write that down.
And as
I haven't
you kind of see
written
that,
down.
you flip behind it, and it denotes 24 Lightstar firearms, 48 Lightstar short swords. You see one of the boxes is longer, closer to 6 feet, and it notes that there are 12 spears, 6 glaives, and 6 halberds. Along with a variety, 24 of both longswords and warhammers. And then an entire box, which seems to be significantly heavier than the rest, which has a set of 24 shields inside.
Given my gray area of the law, we can confiscate these as evidence and totally not sell them.
A handful. You can't fit a crate inside a bag of holding. It's way too big to get in the bag of holding's entrance.
One of each, everyone?
Let's grab all the firearms.
Why? I mean, okay, hold on. This is enough to supply a small security detail. This is definitely
This is
Kind
enough
of
to
double.
supply a small army.
We should definitely report this much to someone.
If it's an official company, if Valarium Holdings is official, it's not illegal. Might maybe suspicious, but maybe they're just getting a big building and need to hire a small security force.
I guess so.
Small.
Small.
I mean, that's pretty much arming 100 people with a couple spares, is effectively what that is.
Alright. What do you
Regardless, grab a few things in time to leave. Definitely taking the note. Actually, hold on. Question about the note. Does it have, like, some official Lightstar seal? That way we know it's not forged?
There doesn't appear to be like an official seal, but the note was already opened, so you don't know if the seal was just
Okay.
set aside.
Are there any markings on the like shields and weapons, guns and such?
Yes, they each have.
Of the craft?
They all
Craftsman?
have a
Lightstar symbol?
well, yes. There's a specific phrase for like a blacksmith's effective signature that they put on every weapon.
Gosh, what is
It's
it
called a fuck
It'll come to us in like 10 minutes.
A forge mark?
stamp. It's like a stamping. It's,
Serial
it's
number?
literally what it is. It's literally what it is. It's like a metal pin with the stamp on it, and you hit
Emblem.
your hammer on it.
Emblem.
That's not the word I would look for. A maker's mark. A
Oh,
maker's
okay.
mark.
That's a whiskey.
What the fuck?
Anyways,
Um,
Lynn will take a short sword, I guess, put it in his whatever bag.
We'll just have one of each of everything.
one of each of everything.
That's a lot to go missing, though.
This
And the notes.
I will have you guys note that with the books and the other things stolen, you guys are stealing thousands upon thousands of gold worth of material. This will be not just noticed, but hunted. The books is like, okay, why the fuck would they steal those? The weapons is a declaration of, hey, come hunt me.
Okay, let's
Okay,
just do
we'll grab-
One thing.
Books?
What do you
I was
say?
gonna say two, but I guess one could also work.
What? One or two things, and that's it.
Just get another. What do I have?
Yeah, another short sword.
And a gun.
Another short sword? Yeah, I have
A
a
short
short sword. Just take another short sword and we'll compare them.
Yeah, another short sword, a gun.
And a gun.
Well, that's it.
And a note.
Yeah, from the already opened crate,
Yeah.
rather than opening all the other extra crates.
Fun. Why did we take all the books? That's like over 100 books.
No, I don't think it was that many. It was a lot of books, but
Yep.
it
I thought he
was-
just took notes on the books.
No,
Nope.
he straight up scooped all the books
Yoy.
into his bag of holding.
Books.
We have all the books, and we have the
Books.
barrels. We have the barrels of blood.
No, it's a
not gonna
pot.
be noticed.
You guys have a singular pot of blood that you stole as well. As you guys are exiting the area,
Relock the door.
once you get back to the street, you get pinged from Lycus.
Don't break into the building.
Like that. Liam was going to look a little reverse of. Oh yes, I did say that. I will pick up and say, yes, hello, Lycus.
What did you find?
Potential agents of Varus in the city.
And
Well, we may or may not have broken into the house they were using as a base of operations. But we did find a cache of weapons in the basement, and we found
Enough to supply a small army.
It's enough to supply about 100 people, and we also found experiments with golems in the city, as well as books on
Pulling and rewriting.
programming and taking over magical defenses. The golems, two of them were of dwarves, and one of them was a hawk.
That could be any number of targets throughout the city.
We're still. I think Oswald is still tracking the four that left.
Just
The
about
village.
every place of import has either a few golems. There are some standards sold. Did you take down the runes?
Yes.
Oh, hold on. When you say takedown, do you mean as in? Yes, we
Yes.
did note them. I don't know if I can exactly relay it of a text that, or relay it of a speech that well.
Bring it to me this evening when you return at 6.
All right.
I have some worries, but I also... As much as I want to do something about this, right now I'm uncertain if we can before tomorrow.
All right. I'll trust your judgment on this matter. Hope the rest of your meetings go well.
See what else you can find throughout the day, and any research
Yes.
or other investigations you can find. We'll discuss this evening, and maybe I'll put in a few words. Regardless, I'll see you this evening. Let me know if you find anything else.
Yes, but before you do hang up, do you have a moment?
I have a few more minutes before the next representative of Troja arrives.
I won't keep you too long then, but I guess I was wondering if you had noticed the surprising amount of anti-war protests outside.
It's not entirely surprising to me. It's part of what worries me about what you say you found. If there were to be any form of terrorist attack tomorrow, especially on a group of protesters, turning the golems against them, as there seems to be a massive protest being put together outside of the Senate for tomorrow. If something were to happen to them, it could be immensely dangerous for the balance of power in the Galadrian Empire, whether we enter this war or not.
While I do agree, I can't help but find something odd about all of this. The Varys, if we are going to take him at his word, which may be a fraught starting point, says that he wants to, doesn't want to destroy the world, that he wants to rule it. And I guess
What better way to
causing
do
this
it than to
chaos.
cause the chaos and destruction of the current monarchy?
I suppose. I guess, at least for my taste, the stray is too close to ruin. But at the very least, the people we had noticed were a part of the protests. Well, I say a part of members, at the very least, not any sort of active ringleaders, as far as we could tell.
And
But,
regardless, this doesn't have to be Varys' plan. It could be his master's.
True. I shall leave you to your meetings then. And with that, I'll hang up. Well, time to go to Golden Goose.
So, you guys begin making your way to the Golden Goose. You're able to meet up with your representatives, your other buddies there.
After only a 2.5 hour delay.
After only a 2.5 hour delay. It is just past noon at this point. You guys spent a fair bit of time there. Like over an
May as
hour
well
tracking them.
Get lunch.
Probably a couple hours there at the house and around the area, searching, investigating.
Wayne, when did you get a statue of yourself?
Wait, Lyndon hasn't seen the
Lyndon and
statue.
Leopold don't know about the
They
statue.
left before the statue occurred.
When did you get a statue of yourself, Wayne?
That's complicated. And it's not been 24 hours yet, right?
No, it is not. So the statue
So,
is still
we
outside. There
asked
is actually a handful
First,
of.
see,
There's a
and then, like,
handful of city
pro-
guard
That are like, who the
surrounding
fuck is this?
this, and it's just, well, you see, he had a tiara on. As you guys are just walking up.
Does Wayne currently have the tiara on?
No.
No.
no, I took it off.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
And I look at Lyndon and go, all you gotta know is that Wayne and I made a lot of money last night.
Yes. Yes.
So, as you guys enter the Golden Goose, what are your guys' plans for this afternoon?
Is my brother, lovely old Maurice, currently in the Golden Goose?
He is.
I might see if myself, Yvonne, maybe Theobald, depending on Maurice's opinion of the dwarf. See if we after lunch we could just go on a little tour of the Sun Hall region. I'm sure he can get us in. And if you want to RP out me telling Maurice why exactly we're doing this, we can. I don't know if we want to get more stuff done, because 2.5 hour
I would
aside.
actually almost like to keep some of that conversation private from the rest of the party. So me and you can message.
Yes.
We're going to say that you guys sit down for lunch, and then they're going to take off, and they're going
Yeah.
to do that, and they're going to spend
And-
the majority of the afternoon doing that.
Yeah, I would say. And Leopold would definitely want to keep that private, because he does not want another I hate the poors moment.
I hate the boards.
I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, Wayne, what did their lips say?
I was about to ask, did they actually go to a different, like, room? Or
They're going and they're taking a walk to Sun Hall. They're going to a completely different district of the city together as they discuss and talk.
Well,
so I can see the
If
I
you
guess-
can, well, you could trail them, but you'd probably get stopped if they are able to enter Sun Hall, and their backs would be to you the whole time.
No. joke. I'm going to eat lunch
Just-
with Rikus, but I can still see their lips from anywhere.
I have eyes everywhere. On your guys' way back to the Golden Goose, Oswald finds you. He lost
Hog.
them when they crossed over into the Mid-District Bazaar.
looks like we're going to the bazaar again, boys.
So, is
Damn.
the rest of the party wanting to go into the bazaar and attempt to find these people? I don't know if there's anything else you guys really have that you want to do.
It's the most populous, crowded area of the whole city, isn't it?
It is the most crowded area.
There's like a few 100,000 people in that area.
Currently, during the Festival of the Rise, probably pushing 500,000 in there right now.
God damn, we're never gonna find them in there.
Yeah, The reason to go. He's like, there's so many people, like, we're not going to be able to find them.
Well, where do you guys think they got these books?
I'm assuming Lennon is going to delve into the books.
Yes,
you
if we're
would
not going
like,
anywhere.
then you can go ahead and do your standard research checks. Roll me a intelligence and an arcana.
Radio, doing guidance for both. Alright. But
I'm just trying to skip through as much of this afternoon as possible so that we kind of start next session in the evening.
int at 24, Arcana going for. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Wayne's going to pick up a singular book and just see if there's any note in the front that says, like, property of, or, like, the store it was purchased from.
Okay. as you open it up, there is a property of, but it has been crossed out and then left blank below.
Damn. Well, I tried. I'm gonna go get a drink.
Wayne Rikus, plans for the afternoon.
Yeah. Rikus, after lunch, is gonna stroll his way towards a small shopkeep area that he's known of before because reasons. And he is going to write a note to ping one of his informant networks to look into Lightstar Forge, its origins, why so many weapons are being shipped out, and then also this company that
Right.
ordered all the weapons in that
You're
house.
Probably going to make your way throughout this afternoon across the Mid-District Bazaar into the Claragath garrison to do this.
Yep.
As the shopkeep's probably, they would be a little swarmed today. So without taking a week, you could get it more directly towards the source. So you're going to take a large portion of the afternoon to walk across. I'll say your brother goes with you to walk across the Mid-District Bazaar to the Clark.
And we awkwardly have more small talk information where no
Actual history.
backstory, history, or lore is dropped at all. Once again, I am sorry, viewers at home, but it is going to be continued.
It's going to be like 104 sessions in, and it's going to be like, yeah, I did this while we were separated, by the way.
Lost my
Damn,
hand.
dude.
Alright, Wayne, afternoon.
I'm gonna teach Percy drinking games.
Oh,
God damn it.
good lord.
Roll me a luck check.
Hell yeah! All right.
He beats you.
How lucky is Wayne?
I don't have it over here, so I'll just roll a d20 plus
a large number.
4.
Oh.
No, it's so close.
You are astounded by Percy's constitution, as throughout the afternoon he is actually able to win you 21 gold pieces in drinking games.
Oh yeah.
Why are you teaching the
boy,
child
Percy.
both drinking and gambling? This
Wait.
is very irresponsible.
Wait, the priest isn't even gambling, but he made the little kid win him gold. God damn it.
So, we will begin our next session. I will have correspondence with both Lennon and Leopold about what they discovered with your 24 combined and your walk and talk with Maurice. I'll get with both of you guys about that. In fact, I'll talk with Aiden tomorrow night since I'll see him. And I'll send you a little bit of information, Lennon. And we will begin our next session as you guys enter back into the North Vertasis and the Caladron estate. And we'll start the session linking up with Lycus, having a chat with him, having dinner, going to bed, and then waking up for this Senate meeting in the morning.
Alright. Before we leave, remember, we do not condone underage drinking and or gambling.
Nah. I don't.
Yeah, that's why I'm of age when I'm having this.
But he's
I am
a
the
priest of
only-
justice.
I am the only underage person, and I am the one heading up this D&D
Good lord.
podcast.
Good lord.
Did you Photoshop a cigar onto every single one of those?
No, that is just how that character is. The only photoshopped one is the one that is obviously a Photoshop of Jetstream Sam.
Good lord.
How many memes were posted that I didn't see?
Not many.
There was a good chunk.
Wayne, you cheated on me. She's an old
God.
lady. suggest we buy. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording here. We will begin with our discussion meeting back up with Varys after he met with 29 different Senate seat holders, which
Varys.
I painstakingly went through and made up names and races and genders for all 40 members of the Senate.
Jeez.
I hate myself.
ChatGPT is a wild tool.
Well,
I didn't
now
use
if we
ChatGPT, I used my head.
well now if
ChatGPT
we
is
ever
weak.
need to
Real
meet
men
a
use
Senate
fantasy name generator.
Alright. Recording done.